Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. Just wanted to quickly run over the part maps for these before we crack on with the painting. I said I was going to stick an image of these at the end of the last video and completely forgot all about it, so here they are. You can see obviously it's very straightforward, it's very clear, it's completely colour coded. Each of the different parts have their own allocated colour. You can see the plastoc domes and the lampshades. We've got the Hasagawa Mozart Carol parts, and of course all the lovely Tamiya parts as well, the 8 rad, the Lotus F1 wheel, etc. Of course the flat guns. Really good guide for the actual construction of the model, and helps with the placement of each individual greeblies. This is not my work, it's somebody else's. Somebody sat and painstakingly done all this. So thank you very much to whoever you are. These images are readily available across the internet, so they're completely public domain. So feel free to have a wee look. And this is the front end view. Not much going on here apart from Flak 38 and of course the large Russian tank wheel that makes up the nose cone, if you like. Just another angle. Again, worthwhile reference material for actually looking at where everything's placed and how to go about it. Hope it's of use to you, and if you need a copy of it, I've got it saved, so you can drop me a PM and I'll ping it over to you. But as I say, both these images are readily available online. So, you know, have a look at it, study it. You know, if you're going to be building this, see exactly what parts you're needing, where they're going, have a look about the sprues, identify the individual parts, and just go for it. Enjoy the video. And here it is. So it was primed, just using a normal grey. It's a standard grey primer that I would normally use, and then we painted it using this colour here, ILM Stormy Sea. So this is one of the Archive X range. It's effectively the same colour as the TIE Fighter. They've used the same colour, and it was also used in Empire for the Superstar Destroyer as well. It's a really kind of military grey sort of blue colour. I love it. It's one of my favourite colours at the whole Archive X range. It's just really, really nice. Depending on the lighting, depending how grey or how blue it looks. I mean, right now, there's definitely a lot of grey, particularly on camera. This part here looks really, really grey, and actually you could almost swear it was a different colour for this section, but actually it's flat, the same colour right across the whole board. Same here as well, just depending on how the light sits on it and the shadows. More intense light, you see a more intense blue, bit more shadow, it just goes that really, really dull grey military sort of colour. It's a cracking colour of paint. So hey ho, there we go. Next stage is we'll need to start looking at masking off. There's not much to this paint job really, to be honest. Each of these panels here get masked off. There's a bit of masking goes on here, and then we spray over it with a bit of black. And then the same in the bottom half, we've got just soot and carbon stuff, you know, that kind of stuff all building up round about the bottom sort of quarter of the model. And then there's splashing on it, and then we'll do a bit of misting here and there. And that's it really. It's really quite a simple paint job. Not particularly complex. For not a particularly complex build, I would suggest. There's a few bits here and there I need to tidy up. I'm not really happy with. Just how some of the pigments is maybe split for the paint, to be fair. So I'll go around that, a bit more of this, just to even up the colour, and a few bits I think I might have missed. And then we'll crack on. And as if by magic, we're back. All the masking is done. So what we've done is we have masked off each of these individual panels at the outer side of this line here, because that is also part of the colouring in here. I would imagine that was probably just a choice made by the ILM modelers to make life a wee bit easier than try to mask over this ridge here. So instead just include it. So each of the 5 panels are masked off. And then we've got some additional markings put on here as well. So when you spray this colour, when you spray this part here, this will be a black colour. With this bit masked off, obviously the Stormy Sea is going to still show below, and so it'll contrast and there'll be some identifying markings on it. Now, this is 3mm tape. The only 3mm tape I've got at the moment is the flexible stuff, so it's just going to have to do the job. Although I do quite like it, it does hold a nice line and whatever. So each of these pieces, not these 4 bits here, but each of these 5 pieces here are all 10mm in length. This one is roughly half lengthways. This one has just had a slight taking off the top, just across here, just using my scalpel to do that. These 4 pieces here, each of these are 15mm. I wrote that on there with a wee thin pen, just to A, remind myself, and B, remind you guys as well. So for those guys not using the metric system, don't ask me, I've no clue. Google it. I don't know. So basically, like 10mm is 1 centimetre. So you can work that out for there, roughly. Roughly what you're needing. And then this is like 1.5 centimetres or 15mm. Okie dokie. So each of the panels are taped out in the same fashion. So I just have to go in this another 4 times and do the same. Once we've done that, we'll get the airbrush charged up and then we'll start talking about colours and painting. Cheers. Right, so we're back again and I've done all the masking. Each of the 5 areas that we've masked off are now all, including the bit with the socket, are all now ready for paint. So what we've done is we've got this ready to go. Some 1975 engine black already in the airbrush. Let me see if she gets it sorted. And what we're going to do is just gently start misting this on. Now, I want to slowly build up the colour. I don't want to apply too much at the one time, because what I will be doing is leaving some bits slightly lighter than others. Now the reason for that is I want to start off with a nice clean slate where I have variations in colour. I don't want it solid black all the way across. I want some of that stormy sea on the underside showing through, but I also want to mist it with a lighter colour. It's still a black, but it's I think it'll be grimy black I'll probably use for that. It is a slight grey tinge to it, and will really suit what we're trying to do here. So we'll just crack on with the painting and we'll see you in a mo. Right, that's the black done. Now, it probably looks a bit darker on camera than what I'm actually seeing here, but depending on how the light hits it, you can just about pick up some of that nice grey-blue colour just shining through, and that's what I was going for. I'm not sure if that's entirely screen accurate, it's not really quite in keeping with the reference material, but I just feel that a solid black will be far too much, even on a model. It's a wee bit bigger. Not that this is a particularly big model by any stretch of the imagination in terms of the filming miniatures. Hang on a minute, let's move the light a wee bit round here, see if that makes a wee difference. There we go. If that's any better. Let's see. There we go, it's a bit better. So in terms of sort of filming miniatures, it's really quite small, but at the same time, I don't want to go completely absolute solid black. I think it would just far too much, which is why I want to break it up a bit with a wee bit of misting of this grimy black. So it's this colour here, 1975 grimy black. I know it seems a bit daft using two different colours of black, although there isn't actually such a thing. It's effectively just a shade of grey. It's really, really dark. It's just almost black, not quite black. There's actually a slight greenish hue off it. So just by misting this at various points, we're still darkening down slightly on the undercolours, the grey blue at the bottom, if that makes any sense. But equally so, we're just still adding a bit more of a lighter shade, and then we're going to mist over that one more time with a bit of dark lark grey. Not go too crazy with that, but I just feel a solid, absolute solid black would just, I think it'll take too much look away from the model. It'll just be too dark. Anyway, we'll crack on. Back again. We've brush loaded back up. This time 1975 SP Lark Dark Grey. Interestingly enough, this is actually the colour that was used on the probe droid that's meant to be actually inside this. So it's good that we're using that on this as well. Now, because this is a much lighter colour again, I don't want to go too heavy with this. So it's just a bit of misting here and there. Again, just taking the heaviness away from the black and giving us just a wee bit of variation in colour. And then we can see how that turns out once it's dried off. And if need be, we'll add a bit more. See you in a second. So I keep having on about this this variation in colour and whatnot. Let's have a wee look at how this is turned out. I can just get in here and just peel some of this away. Maybe not. It can always be a bit of a nerve-wracking time when you start peeling away the layers of tape, because, well, there's always that risk that you take off some of the paint. I mean, I use a half decent low tack masking tape, but you never ever know, and then have you missed a bit or whatever. It's always a worry. Anyway, I'm quite happy with this so far. Still 5 other pans written off, but something over there. Yeah, I mean, you can see what I mean right away. It is quite dark. But that being said, a wee spot there where it's crept under. That things like that can be corrected. A wee touch of the original colour on a brush, but I'm not going to die in a ditch about that. Sometimes your final misting coat and things like that can help just blend that in as well. Now, I just want to be gentle with this so I don't peel off the paintwork. But so far, excuse me, so far I'm quite happy with this. You can see there's half decent, geez, oh, tape everywhere. You can see that there's some half decent sharp lines there for the most part from the Tamiya 3mm tape. As I said to you earlier in the video, this is the flexible stuff for doing curves and whatnot. That was the only stuff that I had to hand at the moment, so that would just have to do the job. But I do actually quite like that. So far, that's looked quite decent. I mean, it doesn't matter how nice your model is and how many original kit parts that you've used on it. I think it's still important that you you finish it with a decent paint job. So I just can't quite get the scalpel to catch that on the edge there. There we go. Just get the tweezers into that there. There we go, that's looking alright so far. Yeah, that's a half decent reveal, I would say. I'm quite happy with that. Again, just coming back to the choices and colours, I know it does look very much black. And I suppose ultimately that was the colours chosen by ILM, but sometimes it's just a wee bit about the subtleties and the appreciation of the eye and things like that. There will be more mist and coats and stuff going on this, so we will take a wee bit more of the black harshness off that. It does look a bit darker in camera than what it does to the naked eye, but overall, when you can see some of the marks, we've got a couple of wee splash marks already starting to appear that was looking to get in there as well. But yeah, I'm happy with that so far. I'll go and unmask the rest of the model and then we'll move on to the next stage. Cheers. Right, so I'm just starting to get a wee bit carried away myself here in the weather. I have started to mist this area here, around a bit here. You'll just see a very, very, very slight difference. So I'm just feathering some of that dark lark. Yep, lark dark grey, and the bottom section here is quite cruddy up. A lot of black sort of carbon build up, or whatever you want to call it, on the bottom section. I want that a nice gentle feathered transition going from this grey blue, so that, and then the bottom half, or the bottom section of the sort of hot end of the engine is all black. Not black, but that kind of dark carbony colour. So with a wee bit left in a wee bit of the dark lark in my left my airbrush, and done a wee bit of mist in there. What I've just put into my airbrush just now is a wee bit of the lark light, and I'm going to just mist some of that on there as well, and it'll just help with that transition. The lark light is quite a warm colour, and we'll just show you now. Not a huge amount of difference between the two, but there is a difference. There's a sort of warm tinge to this. I really like these lark colours, these lark greys, and I just want a nice transition sort of from the bottom third of the model, and it just looks like that sort of grimy build up that you might get at the bottom of a rocket sort of type propelled vehicle. Again, a lot of this is just subtleties, and it's just all about building it up. I keep talking about layers and the importance of layers. They really are. I don't want to go too far with that. What I will do is I'll also use it for a wee bit of the weathering. I've used the dark grey up here a wee bit. You can see just wee bits of mist in here and there, and I'll use a wee bit of the light as well. I'm not going for 100% screen accuracy on this. I'm taking a wee bit of artistic liberty, but I am still sticking close to what ILM have done, the general feel of the model, but I'm not going an absolute 100%. Put a wee bit of tape on here, and just do a wee bit of streaking here. There's not a huge amount of streaking on the model, to be honest. I just wanted a wee bit on there. I don't want it to be too heavy. I don't think it's necessary as such, but there's just a wee bit on here and there, just to keep in with that Star Wars feel. Anyway, we'll crack on. Right, what I've done now is I've loaded up the airbrush with a bit more of the 1975 grimy black. I keep mentioning colours, the different colours of black and grey and stuff. It's probably the wrong phrase to use, it's tone or shade. You know, hue I don't even know if would be the right word, because I think that's not even linked to a colour, but anyway, it all means the same. I mean the same thing. We're just looking for variations of grey on here. It's a grey model, there's no getting away from it. There's a blue grey, there's light grey, there's dark grey, there's black. There's what else can you say about it? So, but even with such a restricted palette, you can do so much, and it's all about transitions and layers. You know, a bit of feathering, bit of misting here and there, building up in layers. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to just work on this bottom section here, because this is, when you look at the reference material, this part is very dark. Again, absolute black on a model, in my opinion, tends to take your eye away from the scale, so going for the dark greys really generally works a lot better. However, in saying that, there will be black getting squirted in here, getting shot in here, just to darken that off, because you know, any sort of light hitting in there, you'll see right up to the blank plastic that's at the bottom here. So we just really want to make that a wee dark hole that actually, if you look into it, you could very well imagine that there's engine workings inside this. You'll see that there's actually some silver paint chips on here. The masking fluid didn't stick that well, but actually neither did some of the primer, which worked in my favour. So what we will do is we'll just use a wee toothpick or something at the end just to chip some of that away and get some of that silver showing through for the lotus wheels. So we've got and that'll be just part of the overall effect at the end. Anyway, let's crack back on with what we're doing. So just going with the engine black, we're just going to start just lightly applying that until we're happy with the coverage that we've got. This isn't you know, completely cover the entire part in just a blanket colour. Remember, this is sort of carbon scoring that's built up over time, so there might actually be areas where it's not actually got any of the darker shades, and you might actually still see wee bits of, you know, lighter grey or whatever through there. So it just, again, it adds just parts of interest and something for the eye to pick up, and makes the detail a bit more believable. Now, there is a sort of greenish tone to this this black colour, which probably actually helps keeping in with the overall feel of the model. But we will be using black at the end here, just as a final misting at points, as I say. So what I'm just going to do now is I'm just going to crack on, and we'll just film a wee bit of that, and we'll see you at the end. Excuse me. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go in with the black now. I'm very happy with this. It's looking really dirty already. The transition of the grey, quite happy with the feathering of that. I wanted it to come up, you know, maybe kind of the bottom third of the model at least, kind of in line with the reference material. But really it's just really from kind of this area here back that's the dirtiest. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to go in with a wee bit of black misting, and also just a wee bit of a sort of wash in some of these recessed areas in here. So just flooding some of that black in there, and then using the airbrush to just blow it about. So we're not necessarily covering all the greeblies, but we're just getting it in there into some of the more recessed areas, and it's just blown about. It tends to dry in sort of different levels of intensity as well, just giving that sort of mottled effect or sort of variation in colour or tone, should I say. You probably can't see it that well, but you know, it's there. It's just all part of the layers and the build up of the effects. So what we'll do is we'll just crack on now. And I've also done another wee idea. What I'll do at the end is I'll use a bit of weathered black, which is a slightly warmer tone. It's going to look more purpley. I know purple might not necessarily be classified as a warm tone. You know, blue's a cold colour, red's a warm colour, so there's a bit of a transition in there. What I've done in my start video, when I done the droid on the start, is I used the weathered black almost as like a sort of carbon that's coloured by a chemical, so like a burning fuel sort of type smoke, as if there's a sort of, you know, slightly different colour produced with the burning of a fuel, and that kind of gives quite a nice effect, I think. Particularly we'll concentrate it in just in these areas here and in here, just round about the nozzles. Again, it's just for a bit of variety. Right, so we'll move on. Just got some of the 1975 weathered black into the brush, and what we'll do is we'll just apply a wee bit of that, as I said to you, round about the booster nozzles. As I said to you before, in my opinion, it gives a nice burnt fuel feel to the bottom half of the model. There we go. Don't want to go too heavy with that. That looks okay. Quite pleased with that. That's fine. So, a few more weathering effects still to be applied. Some splatters. Like probably of dark lark. We'll just use a wee bit of the thinned paint and an old brush to do that. Just to get some splattering effects over the model. And then I'm going to just run over it with a very light misting of grime, just to sort of give it a bit of a sort of slightly dusty look, tie everything together, and I think it'll be pretty much done. There we have it, done, dusted. I'm very happy with my first ever replica filming miniature from Star Wars. What do you think? Very pleased with that. Bit of dark grime just in at the end there, and it was literally just a very, very, very light misting. Just enough to give it a wee dusty coat. Blend some of those colours together, or those tones together, and just give it that slightly aged hue as well. That's quite popular on the ILM miniatures. Well, if you're happy with that, drop a wee comment in, or a wee like or whatever to the video. The build video for this, for whatever reason, seems to have gotten a lot of likes and a lot of attention, which I'm very, very pleased about, because not for my own personal satisfaction, but just the fact that it's nice to have some of that information out there just in the world for people to go ahead and just do their own project. Anyway, take care folks, thanks for watching, see you again soon.